Or, gentlemen, listen carefully. When a woman stops calling or texting you first, most men panic. They assume she's lost interest, that someone else has her attention, or that they've done something wrong. But the truth is far deeper and far more revealing than you think. When she doesn't call or text you first, or it's easy to let your mind spiral into doubt. You start thinking she's no longer interested, that you did something wrong, or that she's talking to someone else. But the truth is, her silence is not always a rejection. It's often a reflection of her emotional state. Sometimes women withdraw not because they don't care, but because they're trying to understand their own feelings. A man who reacts with patience instead of panic shows emotional maturity. The conclusion here is simple. Or her silence isn't about you, it's about her. Many men make the mistake of assuming every action a woman takes is centered around them, or they interpret her distance as disinterest or punishment, when in reality she may simply need time to think. Women are emotional beings who process connection differently, or sometimes she steps back to protect herself, to avoid vulnerability, or to see if your presence is genuine. Or a man's job isn't to decode every text delay, it's to remain emotionally steady. The conclusion is, or give her space to feel instead of rushing to fix what may not be broken. When you tie your self-worth to her communication, you set yourself up for unnecessary pain. Or the moment she stops reaching out, you start doubting your own value. But attraction is never sustained by panic. It's sustained by peace. Or a confident man understands that his worth doesn't depend on external validation. If she pulls away, he doesn't chase. He reflects, reassesses, and redirects his focus toward growth. The conclusion, her silence is an invitation for you to strengthen your confidence, not question your worth. Or silence can be one of the most powerful teachers in relationships. It reveals the strength of your mindset and the depth of your emotional control. Instead of asking, why isn't she texting me? Ask, why am I so uncomfortable with space? Because the truth is, emotional strength is built in moments of uncertainty. Or how you handle silence determines how you handle connection. The conclusion is, every pause in communication tests your patience. And those who pass the test grow wiser and stronger. A woman's emotional rhythm isn't linear. Some days she's expressive and warm, other days, she withdraws to process life. Expecting her to constantly initiate or validate you will only lead to disappointment. Instead, learn to understand emotional flow. Or women respect men who can remain consistent even when her energy shifts. When she goes quiet, it doesn't always mean something's wrong. It often means she's balancing her emotions. The conclusion, your calmness during her quiet phases earns her respect more than constant pursuit ever could. Sometimes she stops calling because she's lost in her own battles, work stress, or family problems, emotional fatigue. These can silence anyone. Men often forget that women, too, have emotional worlds outside the relationship. Instead of assuming the worst, or assume compassion, send positive energy her way without needing to control the outcome. She will notice your emotional steadiness even in absence. The conclusion, empathy during silence is more powerful than words during conflict. Another reality is that her silence may be a subconscious test, or she wants to see if you're centered in yourself or dependent on her attention. Women are naturally drawn to strength, not desperation. When you respond with calm self-assurance, you pass a silent test of emotional balance. You show that you value connection but don't rely on it to feel complete. The conclusion, her silence is your opportunity to display self-control, the quality that defines real masculinity. Silence also helps reveal whether your connection was based on genuine emotional depth or mere habit. When communication stops, true bonds remain unshaken while superficial ones fade. If she's genuinely connected, she'll return when she's ready. If not, you've learned an important truth without needing to chase it. Either way, you win because you preserved your dignity. The conclusion, or silence, exposes authenticity, both hers and yours, in ways constant conversation never can. Or every man must understand that relationships aren't built only on communication, but also on energy. When your energy feels needy or anxious, it repels her. But when you project calmness, purpose, and confidence, even silence becomes magnetic. Women can feel your vibe even from a distance. So instead of worrying about her absence, or focus on becoming the kind of man whose presence is unforgettable. The conclusion: if your energy stays grounded, her silence will only increase her curiosity about you. Or the fear of silence often comes from insecurity. You fear losing her because you secretly believe you're not enough. But that belief creates the very reality you're afraid of. The man who learns to be comfortable with distance doesn't lose women. He earns their respect, or because she can feel when you trust the connection rather than chase it. The conclusion, or self-assurance during silence, builds trust and attraction far more than any text ever could. The truth is, when she doesn't reach out, or she's giving you a mirror, one that reflects your level of emotional growth. Do you react or respond? Do you chase or choose calmness? The answers define your inner power. Or her silence invites you to elevate your mindset, to replace insecurity with confidence. The man who uses this time to work on himself becomes stronger whether she returns or not. Or the conclusion: silence is not rejection, it's redirection toward your personal evolution. So when she doesn't call or text first, don't panic, or don't create stories that don't exist. Understand that silence carries meaning, and often that meaning has nothing to do with your worth. It's a signal for you to trust, or to stay grounded, and to lead yourself with purpose. Women respect men who don't let emotional waves shake their inner peace. The conclusion, or her silence, is not the end. It's the test that reveals who you truly are. When a woman goes silent and stops calling or texting first, or many men immediately start to question themselves. They wonder if they did something wrong or if she has lost interest completely. But often, or her silence is not a rejection, it's a quiet test. She wants to see whether your emotions remain stable when her attention fades. Or this moment reveals the depth of your emotional discipline. If you stay calm, confident, and in control of yourself, you demonstrate strength. The conclusion, or a woman's silence often uncovers your true emotional balance, not just your level of attraction. Or women instinctively respect men who maintain composure under emotional pressure. When she withdraws and you begin chasing, calling, and pleading for her attention, or she immediately senses weakness. It's not that she dislikes your affection, but she fears your instability. Or a woman wants to feel that your emotions are rooted deeply within you, not dependent on her actions. When you stay grounded, she feels safe in your presence. The conclusion, or her silence, isn't rejection. It's an opportunity to prove you can stay steady when her energy shifts. Every woman, consciously or subconsciously, or tests the strength of a man's energy. She needs to know whether you can hold emotional space for her without losing your center. When she stops initiating, or she's observing your reaction, will you become needy, insecure, or desperate for validation? Or will you remain composed and focused on your path? Or a man's response during silence reveals whether his confidence is real or an act. The conclusion, or she tests your calm to confirm whether your masculinity is built on ego or genuine strength. When you overreact to her silence, you communicate fear, fear of loss, or fear of rejection, fear of being alone. Fear-driven energy pushes her further away because it replaces attraction with pressure. The masculine energy thrives when it is peaceful or not panicked. Women are drawn to calm confidence, not chaotic emotion. By staying patient, you send a powerful message that your happiness isn't dependent on her texts. Or the conclusion, emotional stability attracts her back, while emotional chaos convinces her to leave. A woman's silence is a space where true masculinity is revealed. Or it's easy to appear confident when things are going your way. But when she withdraws, your response shows whether you truly understand emotional strength. Or masculine energy isn't about control or dominance. It's about stability. When you can hold your composure without needing reassurance, you embody real confidence. or this silent period tests your maturity. The conclusion: real men don't chase emotion, they master it and become unshakable in their purpose. Or she doesn't always test you to hurt you. Sometimes it's to see if you're emotionally safe to open up to. Women fear vulnerability, and your reaction to her silence tells her whether she can trust you with her emotions. If you react with anxiety or anger, you confirm her fears. But if you stay grounded and patient, she feels reassured that you won't collapse under emotional tension. The conclusion: passing her silence test earns you her trust far more than constant communication ever could. Women naturally crave a man who leads with emotional intelligence. When she doesn't text or call first, that's your chance to demonstrate leadership through restraint. You don't need to fill every quiet space with words or seek constant reassurance. Emotional leaders know when to act and when to wait. When you remain poised and calm, she feels your inner authority, you communicate that you are a man who responds, not reacts. The conclusion: silence rewards the man who leads with patience instead of panic. Every man must understand that a woman's tests are invitations for growth. They are not punishments, but opportunities to evolve into a stronger version of yourself. When you learn to remain calm when she withdraws, you're strengthening your emotional core. You're becoming less reactive and more intentional. That growth benefits you not only in love, but in life itself. The conclusion: her silence shapes your discipline, and discipline is what transforms ordinary men into exceptional ones. The true test of masculinity isn't in how loud you can be, it's in how calm you remain when faced with uncertainty. When she stops texting, your silence in return becomes powerful if it's grounded in confidence, not resentment. You show that you're capable of emotional control, not emotional games. That kind of steadiness is magnetic. She begins to feel your strength without you having to say a single word. The conclusion: silent strength speaks louder than constant seeking of attention. You must realize that emotional control doesn't mean indifference, it means mastering the balance between care and composure. You can still care deeply while refusing to beg for attention. When she sees that you respect her space yet remain consistent in energy, she feels drawn back naturally. You become the calm in her storm, not another wave of chaos. The conclusion: emotional mastery means loving without losing yourself, caring without clinging, and standing tall without control. Her silence might make you uncomfortable, but that discomfort is your greatest teacher. It reveals where your insecurities live and challenges you to outgrow them. The more you resist chasing, the more you learn to trust yourself. Confidence isn't built in easy moments. It's forged in the quiet when you have to rely on your own strength. The conclusion: silence shapes your self-respect, and once you possess that, no rejection can shake your peace. When you handle her silence with calmness, she begins to feel your difference. Most men would chase or complain, but you remain steady, focused, and at peace. That contrast reawakens her attraction because women are magnetized by emotional security. You stop being one of many and become the man who stands out effortlessly. The conclusion: by passing the test of silence, you elevate from being a boy seeking attention to a man commanding respect. So when she doesn't call or text first, don't panic, chase, or overanalyze, or recognize it as a quiet test of your emotional foundation. Use the space to reflect, grow, and strengthen your masculine frame. Let your actions come from peace, not fear. In time, she'll feel the difference between a man who needs her and a man who chooses her. The conclusion: her silence isn't the end, it's your initiation into emotional mastery and unshakable masculine power. Silence is often misunderstood as distance, but in truth, it is space for reflection, growth, and clarity. When a woman stops calling or texting first, many men see it as the beginning of the end. Yet, this silence can become the most valuable moment in the connection. It allows both individuals to breathe, to see beyond constant communication, and to understand the true foundation of their bond. When you stop fearing the quiet, you begin to hear what it's really telling you. The conclusion: silence doesn't end value, it reveals whether it was ever there to begin with. When communication slows, it forces both sides to step back and evaluate the meaning of their relationship. It's in this space that intentions become clear. If her interest was surface level, or time will dissolve it. But if there was genuine connection, silence only strengthens it. It allows her to feel your absence and recognize what she misses for you, or it's a chance to detach emotionally and observe reality without illusions. The conclusion: silence exposes truth, or making it impossible to fake connection or disguise emotional shallowness. Many men fear silence because it threatens their sense of control, or they equate communication with closeness, believing that without messages, affection fades. But constant contact doesn't build depth. It can sometimes create dependency. Or when she doesn't text, it invites you to detach from instant gratification and reconnect with patience. Growth happens when you stop needing constant reassurance. Or the conclusion: silence is not emptiness. It's a mirror that shows how strong you are when attention disappears. In the stillness, or you begin to notice your own emotional patterns. Do you crave her attention out of love or out of insecurity? Silence helps separate genuine affection from neediness. Or it's uncomfortable at first but necessary. True confidence means being at peace even when no one is validating you. When you master that, or her silence no longer feels like rejection, it feels like freedom. The conclusion: silence gives you the rare gift of self-awareness, or which is the foundation of lasting strength. For her, silence can be just as revealing. It allows her to evaluate what she truly feels about you. Sometimes, or distance makes emotions clearer than words ever could. When you stop reaching out, she's left with the echo of your presence, or she begins to feel the void where your energy used to be. If her feelings are real, she'll return because absence amplifies appreciation. The conclusion, or silence, allows genuine attraction to resurface naturally without manipulation or pressure. When both people constantly talk, they often lose sight of emotional depth, or they get lost in words and forget to feel. But when silence enters, emotions rise to the surface. She starts replaying moments, thinking about how you made her feel, and questioning whether she took your energy for granted. You, on the other hand, gain perspective on whether your effort was reciprocated. The conclusion, or silence, removes noise and brings forth the emotional truth buried beneath daily communication. A confident man welcomes silence because he knows it serves him, or it's a space for him to recalibrate, focus on his goals, and reconnect with his purpose. While others panic over texts, he channels that energy into building his life. Or this calm focus not only strengthens him but subtly reawakens her curiosity. She feels your absence not as punishment, but as mystery. The conclusion: or when you use silence to grow, you become more magnetic than any message could ever make you. In today's world where communication is instant, silence is rare, or people fear it because they equate it with disinterest. But real connections need space to breathe. When she doesn't text first, or it may be her way of seeing whether the bond can survive without constant stimulation. True attraction isn't built in noise, it's built in stillness. The conclusion: or silence filters superficial bonds, leaving only those strong enough to withstand emotional distance. When you learn to embrace silence, you stop reacting and start responding. Or, instead of sending a needy message, you act from strength. You choose your timing, your tone, your intention. That's how you shift from chasing attention to leading energy. Or she feels this shift instantly. You no longer appear desperate. You appear composed, intentional, and self-assured. The conclusion: silence helps you reclaim your power, or teaching you to move from reaction to control. Silence also gives space for longing to grow. Constant availability dulls excitement, but distance sharpens desire. Or when she doesn't hear from you, her mind starts to wander. She begins to miss your energy, your presence, your calm confidence. Or that missing feeling reignites the spark that routine communication had dimmed. Attraction is born in curiosity, not constant contact. The conclusion: or silence reintroduces mystery, and mystery keeps attraction alive longer than words ever could. When you stop fearing her silence, you stop needing her validation, or you start realizing that peace within yourself is far more satisfying than attention from anyone else. This shift transforms your entire mindset. Or, you no longer wait for her message, you wait for your next move in life. Ironically, that's when she starts noticing your absence. The conclusion, silence teaches detachment, and detachment creates the kind of strength that draws people back to you naturally. Not all silences end in reconnection, and that's okay. Sometimes, silence exposes the imbalance you refuse to see. If she never reaches out again, it means the energy was never mutual. You didn't lose her. You discovered the truth sooner, or that knowledge saves you from wasting time on illusions. The conclusion, silence doesn't always bring her back, but it always brings you clarity, which is far more valuable than false connection. So when she doesn't text or call first, don't chase the noise. Allow silence to do its work, or let it filter what's real from what's temporary. Use it to rebuild your focus, renew your energy, and strengthen your purpose. If the bond is real, she'll feel the difference. If not, you'll still emerge stronger. The conclusion, silence is not the enemy of love. It's the purifier of it, revealing what words could never express. Your reaction when she doesn't call or text first reveals more about your character than her silence ever could. It's easy to stay calm when communication flows effortlessly, but the real test begins when that flow stops. This is where your emotional discipline either shines or collapses. Most men let anxiety control them, turning a quiet moment into chaos. They text too much, call too soon, or demand answers that only push her further away. The conclusion, how you react in silence, determines whether you rise with confidence or fall into insecurity and desperation. Every woman pays attention to a man's reaction during uncertain times. She notices whether you panic or stay patient, whether you beg for attention or respect the space, your reaction tells her what kind of energy you bring into her life. A man who stays grounded under emotional tension becomes a source of calm for her world, but a man who crumbles under silence becomes another burden. The conclusion, she isn't judging your words, she's judging your emotional stability through the way you respond. When she stops reaching out first, you're given a rare opportunity to lead emotionally. Leadership doesn't mean forcing contact or demanding attention, it means controlling your internal state no matter what happens externally. If you remain confident, focused, and emotionally balanced, she feels your masculine presence even in your absence, that steadiness becomes magnetic. The conclusion, emotional leadership isn't about chasing. It's about maintaining peace when everything else seems uncertain. Your reaction to silence exposes your level of self-control. Weak men let emotions dictate their behavior, while strong men master their emotions. If you instantly start chasing, you show that her attention controls your peace. But if you remain composed, you prove that your self-worth doesn't depend on her actions. A woman finds strength in a man who can stay calm when things feel unclear. The conclusion, your ability to remain still when everything urges you to move, is what sets you apart from most men. When you learn to respond instead of react, you take back control of your energy. Reaction is emotional impulse, response is intentional choice. The difference defines maturity. Reacting makes you look unstable, while responding with calmness builds respect. She notices when you act out of desperation, just as she notices when you act out of confidence. The conclusion, your reaction reflects your discipline, and discipline is the most attractive trait a man can possess. Every man faces the temptation to overthink silence. You imagine scenarios, question your worth, and create emotional tension out of nothing. But overthinking destroys attraction faster than words ever could. The more you obsess, the weaker your presence becomes. Instead of wasting energy on assumptions, redirect that energy into yourself, your goals, your fitness, your growth. The conclusion, the best reaction to silence is self-investment, because it strengthens your focus and naturally increases your value. When a woman pulls back, she's subconsciously checking your emotional temperature. She wants to know if you can handle uncertainty without collapsing. A man who remains calm sends the message that he's emotionally independent, not easily shaken. That independence builds curiosity and respect. You don't need to convince her of your worth. You show it through composure. The conclusion, the calmest man in the room always wins because his peace feels safer than anyone else's words. Or silence also reveals whether your interest in her comes from genuine connection or fear of loss. If your first instinct is to chase, or it means you fear losing her more than you value yourself. True connection doesn't require constant pursuit. It thrives on balance and trust. Or, when you react with trust instead of panic, you allow her to feel the strength of your energy. The conclusion: when you stop fearing silence, or you prove that your confidence is real, not performative. The most powerful reaction to her silence is patience. Patience is not passive, it's strength under control, or it shows that you understand timing, that you're willing to allow space for clarity. In that calm waiting, you demonstrate emotional intelligence that few men possess. Or she can feel that patience even without a message. The conclusion: patience is proof of confidence, and confidence is what keeps attraction alive long after words fade. Or sometimes the best reaction is no reaction at all. You don't always need to respond instantly or fill the quiet with explanations. By giving her space, or you show that you respect her emotional process. Silence handled with grace becomes your statement of strength. You show that you trust her to reach out when she's ready. Or the conclusion: silence returned with calm energy turns uncertainty into mutual respect, not power struggle. Your emotional tone shapes her perception of your value. Or if you respond with neediness, you lower your worth in her eyes. But if you respond with quiet certainty, you raise it. Or the moment she realizes you can handle her distance with grace, she starts seeing you differently. Or you go from being another man seeking validation to being a man who provides stability. The conclusion: your reaction teaches her how to value you. So respond with confidence, or not confusion. Every situation in life tests your ability to remain composed under emotional tension, and relationships are no different. Or how you react when things feel uncertain defines how much peace you carry inside. The man who can hold peace during silence holds power in every area of his life. Or that composure doesn't just attract women, it commands respect from everyone. The conclusion: your reaction during silence reflects your mastery over life, or not just over relationships. So when she doesn't text or call first, pause before you act. Breathe before you react. Or remember that silence doesn't demand desperation, it invites strength. Every message you don't send in panic preserves your dignity. Or every calm moment you hold in stillness increases your power. The conclusion: your reaction is your legacy. Handle silence with strength, and you'll never lose control of your value or your peace again.